Alright, what is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, Go Back Gator Guy 231 across the DFS industry. We're recording this a lot later. Normally the routine is wake up, look at the slate for Saturday on Friday, and get the preview out in the morning, but, you know, it's getting pushed later and later. I don't know, I feel like now they're back to having the midfield forwards. I was just going to call them the MFers, but, you know, we'll keep it clean. But anyhow, we got plenty of forwards. We got plenty of options on this 5-game slate. It's a really good one, so looking forward to just kind of breaking it down. It's going to be more concise than usual. Also, just wanted to kind of plug for FSI if you're interested in joining for the rest of the season. Make sure you check out, but we are going to be moving to adding some more GPP correlation type of strategies for the main slate, and not just like the cash optimal plays. It's Storm and I were talking that I feel like, especially in these bigger leagues, EPL, UCL, things like that, ownership gets really, really tight. A majority of really sharp players all kind of are on the same type of people, so kind of going in different directions, different correlations is how you can set yourself apart. So hopefully we can help more and more people do that. So check that out. And if you are just watching the free stuff, that is awesome. We really appreciate it. Like and subscribe to this video. Thank us for doing that. All right, let's just get right into it. First game, most important game, Arsenal hosting Bournemouth, -500 favorite. Saka is going to be insanely owned, because he should be, splitting sets. You know, one of the best players in the Premier League. I don't have to go into it. I think what will be really interesting is if you decide to do any more. Leandro Trossard getting some sets, playing through the middle, kind of hurts his floor, but gives you a chance at that upside and that goal equity. Don't have a problem with him at all. There's just going to be so many of those type of players. It's really going to come down this slate, in my opinion. Are you going to go like balanced, which is set takers all over the place? I love that strategy. That's been the strategy that been working for many years. Are you going to onslaught Arsenal? You're going to go off the board. There's a lot of ways to go here. But Trossard, I think, will be one of those decisions. I definitely prefer him to Martinelli because of the price. Martinelli fresh off of 2 goals, but that his floor keeps dropping down more and more. I think after those 3, that front line, really hard to decide on any Arsenal pieces. Ben White's cheap on the outside. I think he is fine. But Martin Odegaard has been one of the best midfielders all year. He's really, really hard to play with, you know, a limited set share. But then he shows up the goal or assist and you feel silly. You're like, yeah, Martin Odegaard, one of the best players in the Premier League. Of course he's going to show up as a -500 favorite of the big game. I think he's better in like a GPP onslaught type of build than he is like just with like Saka. So that would be the way I'd play it. Nobody from Bournemouth, don't need to go there. Arsenal's very, very heavily possession-based team, especially at home. We can move on. Leeds going to Chelsea. Chelsea also going to be a possession-based team. I think we can more or less cross your Leeds pieces. Like from a 4 perspective, unless you just want to shoot for a goal with whoever that is, you know, going up front. If it's Bamford, if it's Somerville, is it? It's a rotating cast in Leeds. You know, Giannotto is probably one of my favorite players to watch. I could see him giving some people some problems. But if Reece James is healthy playing right back, like Reece James is the perfect kind of right back that can neutralize that type of player. So nobody really in my player pool for Leeds. For Chelsea, your sets are probably Chilwell and João Felix. Reece James, obviously a very good attacking right back. Graham Potter has not asked him to be an attacking right back. That could change at any given time. You know, Chelsea needs a change, so why not change? But I think my favorite play is Felix. Chilwell, great cash play. Kai, if you think that this is going to finally be Chelsea. Chelsea's like, excuse me, getting trashed right now just enough that I could see this being a huge, like, blow-up spot where they could, you know, hang 3-4 goals. Or I could just make the exact argument that they've just been so bad that they could lose 0-1, or it could be a 1-1 game and, you know, Potter actually does get fired or something. So, you know, you can go both narratives, but I think Felix is a really good play. I think it'll be pretty popular in cash. Chilwell, obviously a very good play as well. James, very good play. Kai, Mudryk, Noni Madueke, Sterling, whoever else they play, those are all more GPP type of plays. Let's move to West Ham at Brighton. Brighton, let's watch what happens with Solly March. Solly March plays, he and Pascal Gross split sets. Pascal Gross looks like a pretty good cash type of play to me at 7,100. He's once again midfield forward eligible, so certainly in play. I've talked many times how I do like Brighton a ton at the Amex. The problem with Brighton is they just never can score, and that still is a problem. Pascal Gross normally takes PKs. They haven't had a PK for a while, so I would assume it's him. I like his floor. Solly March has been awesome for them. Matoma has been awesome as well. He'll come in 0 owned, so I really like him for a GPP play. Like, if you wanted to go off the board, do like a mini Brighton stack, do like a March, Gross, Matoma, and like nobody's playing something like that. And then, you know, say that it's 1-0, 2-0. Pair it with like a Sanchez, you know, like Lewis Dunk as a center back, goal correlations, something like that. Those are all really interesting low-owned type of plays in the main GPP. That's how I'd attack Brighton. From the West Ham side of things, I really don't like West Ham other than Jared Bowen. And I really just don't like Jared Bowen in this slate. There's just too many other plays in that price range that are either favored, that are in better matchups, that play for better teams, all the above. So Jared Bowen, GPP, sure. Otherwise, moving on. Tottenham going to Wolves. Tottenham won't be owned here, so I think that's interesting. I guess Harry Kane always gets some goal or some ownership, but I would assume, especially like in a cash game or optimal sense, you'll see him pretty low owned. If they're going to score goals, it's going to come through him. It'll be really interesting to see if Son's still on the bench. It seems like that's like the new role. If he's on the bench, Kulusevski and Perisic is also on the bench, then you have Kulusevski over close to Monopoly, also attacking. I think he's a really good play at that point. Once you start adding Son, Kulusevski, Perisic, those sets get murky. If Son's on the field, though, he'll take at least half the sets. If he's sub 8K and he's starting, it's really hard to not like him in a game against Wolves, who Tottenham should beat, especially if they want to stay in the race for the top 4. So that's how I would go there. From Wolves, I just don't like playing Wolves players. Sarabia's fine. Grandpa Moutinho's fine. If there's like a price savings, guys are fine. There's nobody in Wolves that's ever going to be like, oh, I love them. You know, the one person I think you can like a lot is a guy like Jose Sa. You know, if we don't necessarily like Tottenham pieces, then, you know, a home goalie that has a really good save rate, that's a guy that we should consider. Last game. There's not much here. Palace going to Villa. Palace, gone on this many times. There's one guy that is just, he is James Ward-Prowse of Palace, which is Michael Olise. If Eze's on the field, Eze takes some sets, but Olise just DFS dynamite, likes to cross the ball a ton, likes to shoot, good at free kicks. He's awesome. It's not a great matchup for him. Away to Villa Park is not a great matchup, but you know, if you want to kind of be off the board, still like a cashy floor guy with upside, but maybe at lower ownership, Olise could be your guy. That's all I target from Palace. From Villa, Villa's probably like my least favorite DFS team in Premier League. You know, sets are normally like Bailey and Luiz. McGinn's back, which makes them better, but he can randomly jump on some. Lucas Dean at any point could jump on some. You don't really want to target their sets, so you just want to target goals at that point. You know, Bailey, McGinn, Ollie Watkins, you know, those type of guys. Palace is a good team, though. I just think this is a game I kind of avoid. Could be great for GPP as a result, because if everybody avoids, what ends up happening is, and this is like my biggest problem or oversight, I don't know what the right word is, when I'm making GPP lineups, is you get so locked in cash, you get so in love with these players, you're like, yeah, that guy's a lock, he's gonna crush, and it's really hard to get off of them in GPP. Because you're like, well, they're gonna crush, they're gonna have 10 crosses and 2 shots and all this stuff, but just getting those different builds in is what you need to do. So, like, Saka is gonna be so heavily owned everywhere. Arsenal pieces are going to be so heavily owned because of the odds. You know, you're going to have still a decent amount of Chelsea because of name recognition. All those type of plays. If you're really trying to go for the GPP, should you be getting off of those type of guys? Should you just be trying to mix in low-end plans? There's never a good answer. That's where it's a little bit harder. I think that's where the correlations and maybe trying to pick up some stacks that maybe are lesser owned or, just aren't as prevalent, and just try to mix it up that way. So anyhow, I don't know if that made sense, but you know, it's the end of the night, it's been a long day, that's how it goes. I'm gonna get out of here. Hope that you all enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, really appreciate it. With that, I'll say see you.